Hello, my name is Grace Stroman. I'm a junior at Reading Memorial High School. I'm also an Ambassador Girl Scout in the town of Reading. This workshop you're attending today is part of my Gold Award project, which is the highest award I can earn and is equivalent to the Eagle Scout Award. The purpose of this workshop is to educate the people of Reading about their amazing conservation and open lands. And this is, as I said, this is one part of my project. I'm also doing designing and distributing a trail book. You can see over there later. It's that's the Town of Acton's guide. I'll be hopefully sort of using that as my guide for my trail book, and I'm developing one for the town of Reading, and that's conservation and open lands. In addition, I will be blazing a new entrance trail to the town forest, which you can see over here. It's right off of Sunset Rock Lane and Wood End School. Right now you have to cross a field and you can't really see the sign from the street, so I will be blazing a new trail and putting up a new entrance sign. We have a guest speaker tonight, Jean Jacobs. I would like to invite her up.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jean Jacobs. I'm a resident of Reading, lived in Reading for about 20 years, and have recently become a member of the Reading Trails Committee. I figured after all the times I've used the trails, hiked, walked, run, camped out in the town forest with the Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts, that it was time to give back to my community. So just a little bit about the Trails Committee. We're a group of volunteers. There are 6 of us on the committee right now. We are, you put in an application to the town, get interviewed by some selectmen, and then get approved by the town. And so we're all volunteers, and what do? Here's our mission statement. So we plan, develop, maintain present and future trails in Reading, and what we want you to do is enjoy them. Get out there, be outdoors, enjoy the trails. Some of the projects that we've done in the past, I was a participant in the project over the summer of building a boardwalk in the Kirchian Woods, and it was a 380-foot long boardwalk that we built over marshland to make it much easier to traverse through the trails, and we put blazed a new section of trail that's kind of an easier grade rather than the one that was kind of steeper before. In the past, there's also been projects to build a bird viewing platform and a handicapped accessible trail out by the Matera cabin, and do some improvements in the Bear Meadow Woods trails. We have a number of projects that we are looking at to do this year. We're limited in the amount of work we can do because of the number of people we are. So if you're at all interested in ever joining us, we'd love to have volunteers. You don't have to be a Trails Committee member. So right now we're in the process of reviewing what projects we can take on this year. So how can you help? You want to go to the... we're kind of relaunching this program called Trail Adopters. And basically what it is you will commit to a year's worth of service to a trail, and what it is we ask you to walk the trail 4 times a year. Usually kind of once at the beginning of each season is a good time to go. Clear out trash, clear out any debris, large branches that are across the trail, and let us know if there are larger trees or branches that you can't lift yourself, or if you see any signs of damage or unauthorized use. Motor vehicles are not allowed on any of our trails, and just let us know. We also have a list of trails for adoption. Grace is going to talk about all the different trails that are available in the town forest or in the Reading Trail system, and there's also a sign-up sheet if you would like to adopt a trail. We have recently started a Facebook page. So if you're on Facebook and you would like to find out more information, there's going to be information about any kind of trail projects coming up. There's a number of events that are listed there, and it's the Reading Trails Committee on Facebook. Okay, you've decided to become a adopter. What do you need to do? I brought my little bag of goodies, And Grace has some out on the table over there too. So what am I going to bring with me? A hat. It's a good idea to wear a hat when you're out on the trails. I have bags, and I always bring at least 2 because you'll always find recyclables out there. Unfortunately, people are not very good about carrying out what they carry in. So I bring one for recyclables and one for trash. Gloves, always bring gloves. Not only are there things like poison ivy, but I have found broken glass and things like that. So it's a good idea to bring gloves with you. Bug spray with DEET. We know there's lots of mosquitoes around here. Put my other things down. And I usually bring just a small pruning clippers. Grace has a larger pruning clippers, but if there are branches or things like that that are kind of growing into the trail, you want to be able to get them out of there. What we like to have is 4 foot wide, 8 foot high clearance. Obviously, you may not be able to reach 8 feet high, but at least so people can walk through there without, hitting branches with their heads. What should you wear? I basically have it on. I think Grace has it on too. Long sleeves, long pants are recommended. Sturdy shoes, hiking boots or other kind of boots, or even running shoes, something that's got kind of a thick sole. And I wear these things not only for sun protection, but to avoid any pricker bushes or poison ivy or anything like that. And bug spray, bug spray, bug spray. Okay, you want to go to the next one. Here's poison ivy. It's all over the place in Reading, so be careful. Somebody had once told me that poison ivy, when it's dormant in the winter, you can't get the rash. Wrong. Anytime the oil's on it, you can get the poison ivy rash. So that's what it looks like. It's just sort of general rules of the road. Trim only the plants that are impeding any sort of trail progress. There is an adopter's handbook on the town website under the trails page, and that's got a big list of, how to properly trim a branch kind of thing. And it will tell you exactly, for example, 3 inches diameter is the biggest thing you would want to try to cut on your own. Other than that, you should let us know and we'll get the DPW out there if we can't clear it ourselves. And if you become an adopter and you want to propose trail map changes or new projects, new trails that need some work, that's a great way to participate. Let us know what needs to be done and we'll put it on our list of projects. Okay, where can you get additional information? The town website has Reading Trails information, a link on there. We also have an email address, the readingtrails@ci.reading.ma.us. That's where you can send any sort of trail clearing, trail damage kind of information. Like I said, that we now have a Facebook page, so there'll be information about events. You can even report problems on that Facebook page as well. And a couple of things that are coming up. The Reading Trails Committee is going to have a table at the Earth Day at the Matera Cabin this Saturday. We're going to be leading walks through the Bear Meadow Trails at 11, 12, and 1. And then our own Dave Williams is doing a Birds Before Breakfast. He's very big into birding and gives a lot of bird walks for people to go on and see the birds in Reading. And he is going to do a Birds Before Breakfast event on Sunday, May 19th. And he would like for people to RSVP to him so that he knows who's coming and how much food to have. So that's it. I hope you'll become an adopter and I hope you'll enjoy the trails.
Does anyone know how many conservation lands are in Reading? I guess. Anyone?
17.
Close.
18.
Yes. Darn. Well, okay. You read directions. Darn. Well, yes, there are 18 conservation lands in Reading. There are also open lands, and we'll get into that later. So let's zoom in. Okay, so there are three main different types of lands in Reading. The first is the town forest, which I'm sure most of you are familiar with. It is owned by the town, but run by the Town Forest Committee. And then the Reading Open Land Trust, which is probably new for many of you, is a small private organization that works with the conservation and town forest committees to preserve land in its natural state, wetlands, open lands, and lands of historical significance. It's not dependent on the town for support and gets its donations and funding from private citizens. And then the Conservation Commission is land owned and operated by the town. Okay, so I started, I decided to focus my Gold Award project on, this photo is taken by Tom Lotzenheiser, and his parents are right here in the audience, which is pretty awesome. So I chose to focus my project on educating people about the conservation of open lands in Reading for a couple reasons. The first is because there are vernal pools in Reading, and vernal pools are temporary pools of water which are crucial breeding grounds for certain species such as amphibians and salamanders and frogs and shrimp. They're temporary pools of water and therefore don't support fish populations and are therefore like the amphibians rely on them for breeding. Okay, and then the second reason is because of wetlands, which are very important. Even though they smell like mosquitoes, they're muddy, you can't really go on them. They're very important, and there are several in Reading. They're key to the ecosystem and control the flow of water. They accumulate water when it rains, and then they let it go once the land dries up. So they're good at doing that. And then in Reading, it's pretty neat. The wetlands feed into the Ipswich, Saugus, and Abidjona rivers. So the rivers like literally start here in Reading, which is pretty neat. And the final reason why I decided to focus my project on this is because I just love nature and lands and animals, and yeah. So okay, so now we're gonna zoom into each conservation land. So as we said earlier, there are 18 conservation lands. Green right here, you might be able to see, are either conservation or recreational lands owned by the town. And then purple is smaller, you'll be able to see, we'll zoom in later. Those are lands owned by the Open Land Trust. So, also, if you have any questions, just feel free to raise your hand about a particular conservation land or open land. It's pretty casual, so. All right, so the first one is town forest. How many of you have been there or heard about it? Okay. Me too. All right, so it's probably the best known conservation land in Reading. As you can see, it's in the northwestern section of town. Right here is the town border and the Ipswich River. There are 3 main entrances, well, hopefully 4 because of my project. But there's one right off of Lynn Village Way, one by Wood End, hopefully 2, and then one over Stroud Ave, which is the town compost. So, all right, a little history to this area. It was formed in 1930 when over 100,000 trees were planted by local Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, nature lovers, the citizens of Reading who just wanted to develop a conservation land. And they were planted in rows, so it's been a while now, so they've grown, and if you go there, you can see just rows of trees. It's pretty neat. They also planted a circle of trees. I forget what it's called, but it symbolizes the unity of all these groups coming together and just loving the conservation land. As you could see earlier, there was an extensive trail system. All those brown dashes are lines or trails. There's many things to do here. It's the only place you can camp in Reading. We have to have a permit. You can ski in the winter, walk, bird walking. There are vernal pools here, lots of wildlife. Lady slippers are one of my favorites, a pretty little flower. And that's basically it. So our next one is Pinevale. It's located in the southern portion of town, right off of Main Street. There's parking off of Pinevale Ave. And it's a smaller area, but there is trail system and it is partially wetlands. So there are streams, but there's boardwalks that go across. It's a nice little walking area. It's sort of neat. You can go in there and just walk, and Main Street and it's right next to you, but you don't really hear it. You just walk in nature. It's a nice land. Okay. So the next one is Kirchen Woods. Yep. As Jean mentioned earlier, the most recent trail committee project was in here. There was a boardwalk built over here. It's really nice. It's brand new. I've been there. They did a great job. It's in Kirchen Woods. It's located in like the center of town. Main Street. Is this Main Street's right here? Yeah. Okay. Just making sure. Okay. So it's a fairly large area, 44 acres. There's an extensive boardwalk system along with an extensive trail system. You can hike there, ski there in the winter. Lots of animals and plants. It has some hills and wetlands, but there is a great boardwalk. It's a great area. One of my favorites. Okay. So the next one is A.J. Schneider Woods, located off of Haverhill Street. Okay, so it's a smaller area, only 3 acres. It's just a great little place for bird watching, a short hike. There are some like trees and berries, ferns, flowers, animals. It's a pretty small area, but okay. The next one is Bear Meadow Conservation Area. It's located on the northeastern side of town. There's the town lines right here. Matera Cabin over here. Oh, okay. It's fine. Matera Cabin is located in Bear Meadow, and it's a fairly new log cabin that was built there, and you can rent it for really any activity, birthday party, the Trails Committee events there, right? Earth Day.
Reading Rec that you rented, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but it will be at Matera Cabin. And Bear Meadow is a large area. It's like 84 acres. A little history. It was once pasture land and grazing land for animals and livestock. So there are stone walls that's crisscrossing the area. It's pretty cool. It was also once an apple orchard, which is neat. So it shows you a little bit about Reading's history, and I don't know, that's neat. The Bear Meadow Brook flows through the northern section of the conservation land. There's an extensive trail system, sorry. And Gina also mentioned there's a bird watching platform here. And so it's nice, it's a platform, it overlooks a meadow, and you can just look out at birds and wildlife. And it's, and there's Matera Cabin. Okay. So the next one is Lobb's Pound Mill, located again once right off of Main Street. You might have noticed it's the only one with this fishing symbol here. So it's the only place you can really fish in Reading. There is a little pond there. You can get to it by canoe. And there's an old mill there, Lobbs Pound Mill, its remains are there. And it's good for hiking, fishing, canoeing. It's a little picnic area, a little bench. It's very nice. And there's fishing there, and there's also hiking. There's a trail, Marin Woods, right by it, so you can fish and then hike, and it's a good combination. Okay. So this is Higgins. The high school is right over here, and this is Kestine Field. This is Bear Meadow Drive, or was. Okay. This Higgins property actually connects to Camp Rice Moody, so you can get.
It's that way?
No, it's that way.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you can just walk there, can come out to high school. It's a small area, it's a simple trail system. There is a little stream and a bridge that goes across. I think an Eagle Scout built that a few years ago. Oh, you did? Yeah. So that's a nice area to walk around, and yep. And there are vernal pools. This is important. Okay. Okay. These next few conservation lands are mainly wetlands. You can get to them, but I wouldn't suggest going on them, but you should know about them. The first one here is Xavier. It's located in the western side of town. It's the town border right here and 93 up there. And this is West Street. Okay, so it's basically just wetlands and vernal pools. There's a lot of skunk cabbage and frogs. It's pretty wet. And there's no trails there now, but yeah, okay. So next one is Timberneck Swamp. It is a swamp, and it is fairly large. Right here is Haverhill Street. It's located in around the middle of town. Okay. It's 103 acres, pretty large. There are trees there, even though it's a wetland. And it's Reading's main source of runoff, so it holds all that water. And it's one of the largest headwaters for the Saugus River. And there is a sign, but there are no trails. And I don't think there's really any access, but it's conservation land. Okay, so this is North Cedar Swamp. It's actually the largest conservation land in Reading. How many of people have heard of it? Right, 2? Okay. All right, that's okay. So if you thought, this is my little joke, if you thought the town forest was great, North Cedar Swamp is greater in size. Okay. That's funny. Okay, so it's 420 acres, which is double the size of the town forest. And this is just wetlands. There are no trails. There's a sign saying it's the Cedar Swamp, but there's no really entrance. As with Timberneck Swamp, it's an important source of underground water, and it's also a large headwater for the Ipswich River. There is poison ivy and poison sumac in here, so along with being a wetland, so I suggest you don't go in there. Yes?
What's a headwater?
I'm pretty sure it's the beginning point of a river. Huh?
Yeah, the origin.
The origin of a river. So yeah.
So that's where the Ipswich River starts?
Yeah, basically, like in Reading, because there are a few wetlands that all join together to, start the Ipswich River. Yep. Okay. And this is South Cedar Swamp. It's located right by Haverhill Street on the eastern side of town. It's a bit smaller than the northern Cedar Swamp, but it is all wetlands and no trails, no access. It's also a headwater for the Ipswich River, and there's also poison ivy and poison sumac, so I wouldn't suggest going there either, but it's still important. Okay. So this is Conservia. located, I think Haverhill Street's right here, and located right in like the center of town. It's a smaller area, it's a swamp. It's no access, no trails, just wetlands. There are blueberry bushes in here, but you shouldn't bring your family in there to pick blueberries, so I wouldn't suggest it. But yeah, okay.
Is there another one? Is that-
No, keep going. Right here is Querlo. The Haverhill Street's right here. And okay, you can zoom in. This is also a wetland. It's 3.7 acres, and it just basically holds water for town. It's a wetland. Not much you can do there, recreation-wise. Okay. So this is the Lillian Bird Sanctuary. The Summer Ave is right here, and you can get to it off. Can you go back, actually? Sure. Hancock Street. Okay. Right here is the train tracks, and Austin Prep is right over in that corner. So, just a sense. Okay. So it's a 12-acre area. It's mainly wetlands. There is sort of a trail, not really. But if you do go in, you can just go in for a bit. There is poison ivy and thorn bushes, so be careful. But if you go in there, you hear like a chorus of birds, and it's really just nice, little secluded area. Okay. So next one is right nearby, right to the north, Willow Street, it's right there. So this is Mallet Morgan. It's a bit larger area. It's part like dry forest and marsh. There's really sort of no trails, but in the winter you can cross-country ski there. It's right next to the bird sanctuary, so there are lots of birds here too. Okay, so this is Dickinzio. Austin Prep is right in that corner. So it's a 6-acre area. There are no trails, and there's dense vegetation. So if you do go there, I don't suggest it, but you will damage the undergrowth, which is not ideal. There's a grassy field and a stream. So it's a nice, I don't know. Okay.
There isn't a grassy field there anymore. It's
Oh, there isn't?
completely swamp. You should know that. It's my backyard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. From the property lines at Plymouth Road all the way across to the property lines on the other side is completely wet. And last year stayed that way the whole time. So if anyone really is interested in a grassy field, not so much.
Yeah, okay. So just don't try to avoid that area.
Just so
Okay.
you know.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so now we're,
You don't really want anyone going in the wetlands anyway. Right?
yeah, wetlands really don't serve as any recreational opportunities there. They're just mainly there to preserve the land and contain water.
It says wetlands on the sign, doesn't it? You say wetlands?
I know it has a sign saying, it's sort of hard to get through wetlands, so,
There's no
and it's like
trails.
smelly.
You wouldn't even notice them probably,
Yeah,
because it blends in.
there's no really like access. There's no like maps on the town website, so you can't really do much there.
There's an entrance to this one.
Yep, it's sort of an open land. So this is the Boyd lot right by Xavier up there, and this is West Street. It was an area donated by Gordon and Philip Boyd, and there's an entrance right off of Willow Street. There are no trails here, as I know. I was going to actually do my project here. I was going to clear a trail through this area, but I found out it's mainly wetlands, and there's a lot of steps you have to go through with the town getting permission to build a trail there. So I didn't do that. Okay. So next one is located in the northernmost point of town, the Fairbanks Marsh. located right off of Main Street. There is really no access. I went there the other day. It's just a sign. If we zoom in, it's a fairly large area. The neat thing about it was once a cranberry bog, so that shows a little about the history of Reading too. It was part donated, part purchased, and it's mainly just a wetland, as cranberry bogs are. Okay, so this is Sledge Woods. You get to it off of Pasture Road, which is off of Franklin Street, and you have to go along this private driveway, which is weird, but they said it's okay. And Sledge Woods is a great area. I think it's one of the newest accusations by the Open Land Trust. It's small, but there is one trail I went on that's good. There's a small stream and vernal pools. It's mainly wetlands, but there is probably potential for another trail there. Okay.
That's one of the projects we're looking at. this year.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so this is the last one. It's the Curry Bird Sanctuary. Can you zoom in? Okay. So it's pretty small, located right off of Evergreen Road. And right down here is a cemetery. I forget. Charles, okay. Yeah, and it's a bird sanctuary. There's no sign, but there's no like access, but it's mainly wetlands. But it is donated in memory of Carl Curry. Okay. So,
That's it?
no, keep going.
Oh, you're right. Sorry.
Okay, so right here I just put up the rules and regulations for conservation lands, just to make that clear. In case you're wondering, the first thing that they have was that everyone is welcome to enjoy the Reading conservation lands with no charge from dawn to dusk. That means you should use these lands to their fullest ability and go to them. These are just sort of basic, sort of common sense in a way. Just don't cut down anything. There's no hunting during non-hunting season. There's no like smoking or alcohol in there. No like littering, and dogs must be on leash. You have to pick up after your dog. That's important. And you can't just cut things down. So that's the end of my presentation. I would like to welcome you to ask questions and get up and look at these maps. I have some books over here about the history of Reading in a way. And over here, as Jean mentioned earlier, there are some tools for adopting a trail, and there's more information over there. I think that's it. Huh? Oh, right, there's food too in the back of the room, so help yourself. And that's it.